It is a very interesting subject to study the rural settlement, where the human being started their livelihood. The variation is the core of geography. Here we merely focus on distribution pattern of geography. Shape, size and other phenomena are entirely depend on geographical conditions. To depict the settlement, we widely use small and large scale maps. The interaction with the psycho-cultural forces became obvious at local level. The approaches involved in studying the distribution are simply analysis of size, form and function. Even density, spacing and dispersion can also be studied. To know the settlement, the above factors are essential for study. Areal variation show varied type of concentration and dispersion of settlements. The settlement distribution is the key process according to Sener, who studied and gave the example of Malwa region of India. Size and density of settlement. The size of settlement always speaks about the nature of soil, topography, social economic background of particular region. The factors responsible for compact hamleted. Here the picture of village is categorized according to population of particular region. Small villages have less than 500 population. Medium villages vary from 500 to 999. Large villages have 1000 to 1999. Big villages have 2000 to 4999 and very big villages have above 5000 population. This data reflects that the rural structure in India changed a lot due to industrial and transport development. Even the rural scape decides the density of population also. The high frequency of rural settlement is found mainly in the fertile landscape. The plateau region and hilly regions support the low density of population. It is found in South India. Vindhya, Satpura ranges are the best examples for the low density of population in the villages. The optimum use of space is the important principle of settlements. It is also connected with the principle of least effort. The best spacing of settlement in an area implies that the inhabitants using them will on the whole spend least amount of effort required is doing so. The significance of spacing in terms of linear distance is realized in all geographical studies. Watson is perfectly right in assuming and identifying geography as a discipline in distance. Spacing is not merely a static phenomena as existing today, but it indicates dynamic processes responsible for present spacing of settlements. Both physical and cultural factors are responsible for the rural landscape. The soil landscape, weather, technology are combinedly affect the settlements. Spacing is also responsible and related to the packing theory of all the polygons which cover surface without overlapping. Hexagon is the most compact one. The theoretical basis of the transforming the density of settlement into spacing is provided by an ultimate development of serial hexagons. The Malwa region of India has a specific example for its computations. In Malwa region, the tribal area in the west has very scattered population or settlement. In north, the settlements are moderate in spacing. The population density varies from 197 to 388 persons per square kilometer. Moderately high spacing is found where the population is more than 1000 persons per square kilometer. The high spacing and the very high spacing is restricted to very fertile areas. Thus, the spacing of settlement is the important characteristic of landscape, and technical advancement of people sum analysis show that spacing and size do not reveal a direct correlation, but there is a great relation between the potentialities of resources. Historical, political background is also considered for the best spacing settlements. The most of parts of Banswara district of Malwa is a typical area of low and very low values. In Bagra area of hillocks and valleys, due to facilities, the small villages have very attractive tracks for human population, and there is good occupations also. This is also a defensive place for human settlements. The low settlement and high settlement spacing is strictly due to landscape. The density of population is also considered due to influence of physical environment. The low and very low value of spacing in Jalwara district is due to patthar or sandy stone of plateau. In such place, the activity like agriculture is very difficult. So, there we can identify the scattered villages. Some places where the dark soil found, the rural settlement density is medium. The settlement study indicates that the areas having close spacing are favorable for settlement of infrastructure, cheaper administration, and many other facilities. The Narmada Valley in India has a specific example for this. The hilly parts, valleys, plateau areas all have varied densities. Road, water, electricity, health, etc. will support for settlements. Many patterns in human geography can be viewed as a sets of settlements. These can be measured, and their dispersion in relation to random spacing will show the degree of regularity. The measurement involves a form of nearest neighbor analysis. It is a simple study. Let us see the case of Malwa region in India. It is assumed that settlements are distributed randomly in accordance with the position probability function, where it is supposed that any settlement has the same chance as any other point of accruing at particular place. The location of each settlement has not been influenced by that or other settlement. By definition, complete randomness is the midpoint of the continuum of spatial patterns, extending from complete clustering to complete uniformity. The settlements distributed in hexagonal pattern each individual settlements. It is noteworthy that the nearest neighbor method provides a test for the dispersion pattern of settlements. The area selected within a boundary influences the result of randomness. The presence of a boundary beyond which measurement cannot be made will tend to make the value of randomness. Here some of the settlement dispersion have given, taking the example of Malwa region. This is on the basis of randomness only. Clustered settlement, random settlement, low settlements, and high settlements are the four important settlement types. Let us see what is clustered settlement. It is a wide spaced big compact settlement. Within 100 square kilometer area, there are 50 villages. Each village has 2 square kilometer of area. This is a situation in Mastabad and Gobrahara of Malwa region. Suitable conditions are favorable for this order only. Let us see what is random settlement. In this category, the villages are nearly 75 in 100 square kilometers. Here inter-village distance varies from 0.72 to 0.78 aerial coverage. The high spacing is example for this category. Low settlement. Here the observed inter-village distance varies from 0.67 kilometers to 1.25 kilometers. It covers the maximum part of the study area. Moderately high spacing is there. Number of villages per 100 square kilometer are from 75 to 114. High settlement area. Here the interdistance of each village is from 0.90. It is moderate spacing less than 1 kilometer. More than 114 villages are concentrated per 100 square kilometer area. It is found that the area having moderate spacing records high dispersion. Moreover, the area with the high spacing recorded least dispersion towards the regularity is experienced in big river valley plains. The occupants of the rural landscape is the outcome of diverse physical, economic and historical cultural phenomenon. They are intersecting simultaneously. Rural settlements are even and uneven in size and shape. Malwa region is an example, has 3 broad sub-regions. Malwa Patna region, compact and big villages are common in many places of fertile land. The level plains of Indore has higher density of population in Madhya Pradesh. The fertile plains extending from Mahi to Betwa, Sindh basin, Kali Sindh, Chambal, Parbati are very fertile for thick settlements. Big villages are the outcome of this environment. The Narmada Valley, it is known as the cradle of old civilization. In the plains of Hosangabad district in Madhya Pradesh, it has compact villages. River bank is the main cause for the compactness of many villages here. In many places, thick forests, hills and valleys dissected the terrain, has restricted the settlements of semi-compactness. The close relationship between the extent of available fertile land and distribution of settlement in varying sizes and forms. The Nimar uplands, Goi, Deb, Kundri, Choti, Tawa and Makak rivers are the fertile black soil areas. Here many big towns like Khandwa, Gargaon, Rajpur, Shendwa etc. are found. Big compact villages are also concentrated in this region. Deserted villages increase in the higher parts where hills and thick forests are there. The Vindhyas, Satpuras and Betul plateau. Distribution pattern of settlement in these areas exhibit clear impact of terrain. Most of these areas are with rugged and dissected topography. Mixed low caste people and tribals are settled here. Bhils, Gonds, Belar Patlia are the tribals who live here. These are unevenly distributed, dispersed settlements. But the distributional pattern of settlement in this eastern part of Satpura Hills and Betwal Plateau differ from their counterparts. Ravines, deep jungles, gorges, steep scraps and rugged topography are the reasons for the uneven distribution of habitations. A regional comparison for the epiceal distribution pattern. Various environmental factors affect the variation in settlements, but these factors are in conjunction with the physiographic and socio-economic and cultural aspects. The settlements are also classified as plain settlements, hilly settlements and valley settlements on the basis of landscape. Malwa region as a whole is taken for study here. In Betwa Valley, big villages are widely spaced and other small villages are scattered between. Big villages have ports, walls, temples and wells. During medieval period, the settlement were occupied by Rajput and non-Rajput clan. Later, due to increase in population and political pressure, they changed. Some diffusional process is found on the Nimar upland. Big size villages have the background of the defensive row. The majority of villages in Narmada Valley are in medium size. The centrifugal force here work properly due to natural growth. Many villages have spatial identity due to age-old caste system based on different functions. In last 500 years, the distributional pattern of villages drastically changed in third world countries, especially in India. In European continent, the settlements are contained both dispersed and nucleated. In North America, the settlements are mostly farmsteads scattered throughout the plains, but aboriginal settlements are widely spaced. During modern times, the picture is changing with technological advancement. Changes in the land ownership also caused new settlement process. Once upon a time, there was no safety for the villages along the bank of rivers. When dams constructed across there was flood control. Then the permanent settlement pattern came into existence. Ganga plain areas in India and the Netherlands are good examples, where the flood control took place by constructing many dams and dykes. Forest cutting is also responsible for inducement of settlement distribution. Today in deep jungles and on many hill slopes, the agriculture is going on. Forest guards, watchers and farmers have built their hamlets in such places. Even tourism is gradually developing in such places by urban dwellers, is both in tropical zone and temperate zones. Timbering, lumbering and sawing activities are very fast here. Similar settlement distribution is coming up in many areas of user land, swampy margins. New plantations and agricultural large scale farming is started in such places. This shows that there is strong deviation from the previous spread of built up areas and are spotted on the no man's land. Even the areas of fallow lands are covered by new settlements. Due to market mechanism and ease in transport and partial employment has brought roadside villages, shop cum residences became common along the good motorable roads. Tea stalls, coffee stalls, bars and grocery developed into hamlets. Railroad crossings were new additions, with markets become new settlements. On many national highways, truck halts spots, restaurant cum petrol bunk, repair shops, fruit shops are also common. Whenever new allotments have been made for the settlements, the landscape is changing. In Malaysia, Bolivia, Sri Lanka, Israel, Iraq, Morocco, Algeria, resettlement sites forced for common land for villages and rehabilitation sites. The Tibetan pioneer areas and western part of China are being settled politically, hence new distributions. Refugee inhabitation is another peculiar settlement. Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, Iraq, Jordan, Sudan, Chad, Vietnam, Thailand and Bangladesh have this type of refugee settlements. At the time of natural catastrophe, they are built for thousands of refugees. Rehabilitation settlement are very common and they are scattered here and there, and in all civilized cities and towns also and villages also we find such refugee settlements. In many hydroelectric project areas also such settlements are found, which are problematic and against to civil rules. The distribution of government colony type settlements are new one wherever the land of development reaches. These are canal sites, dam sites, hydel substation site or factory site, fertilizer, cement, sugar or some manufacturing goods factory sites. All these have attached to colony of settlement. In many well planned urban and rural areas, the markets have developed. The pioneer areas like arid parts of desert of India, coastal areas, high mountain ridges show affected peaks and polar regions. The sparse density of settlements are common due to severe climatic conditions. North Canada, North Siberia, Israel, the Indira Gandhi Channel areas in India are some of the examples for this. All this shows new extensions of settlements. It is noteworthy that one should not lose sight of the fact that due to varied adaptation with ecology, man leaves some parts of the unpopulated regions, hence deserted settlements which affect the distributional pattern in vast areas of mining, forestry, etc. Abandoned projects, factory sites or flood sites are good examples. Similar deserted sites are the hard hit areas by cyclones, earthquakes, volcanoes and change of many rivers, etc. Due to scientific and technological advancement, many new sites were developed near the space sites, hotels and resort sites, military encompartment sites, arms and ammunition sites, and still newer peace centers of intellectuals. Many scientists, academicians, high ranking officials are gathering regarding free and less